I told you guys, Jasmine Crockett is the gift that keeps on giving. When she was asked why she put out her campaign ad where Trump called her stupid, her answer was this.
I also wanted people to understand who the president sees as a real threat, and it is me.
Yes, honey. Yes, he's definitely very threatened by you. We are all very threatened by you. Oh no, please don't run for Senate. It's going to be awful. We actually love it. Oh, Jasmine. We will get more into the latest with the gift that keeps on giving, Jasmine Crockett, a little bit later. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Make sure that you are subscribed, hit the bell, hit the like button. Smash it, gently tap it. Whatever your preference is. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to make sure you do it. Also comment. It'll help us out in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. Which, by the way, I am going to get into this, but I did get shout out to the viewer who emailed me to let me know that the YouTube function where it shows you what you watched this year, conveniently, she's like, I watch you every single day. Like, I watch you more than anything else. Interestingly enough, I didn't show up on her little year in review. Huh? Strange. Isn't that so strange, the YouTube benevolent overlords? Maybe you guys should look into that. Anywho, Democrats are trying this whole, they didn't get the memo that impeachment is old and busted. Didn't work. It didn't stick. Nobody cared. Nobody's listening to them. And they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start impeaching again. This time their target is RFK Jr. Yes, House Democrat introduces impeachment articles against RFK Jr. Democrat says RFK Jr. has, quote, turned his back on science, end quote. Yes, he has turned his back on science because, by the way, Dr. Fauci is the science. And he doesn't like Dr. Fauci, I guess, maybe is their reasoning. Now, what is immediately obvious is the Democrats are not in power this time around. This is obviously not going to go anywhere. Nothing's going to happen. This is all clearly performative. So this Democrat can, Haley Stevens can come back to her dumb constituency and be like, oh, I moved to impeach RFK Jr. And her dumb fans can be like, that's great. Like little seals. Because I want to show you this Haley Stevens, who you may be saying, who the hell is that? I've never heard of her. Well, she's from Michigan. And I can tell you, this is, I'm going to play a clip of her from 2020 to show you exactly the caliber of the person that we're dealing with here.
Officer servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before you. Similar times of trying medical need, wars and flus past. You will see darkness, you will be pushed, and our society needs you to stand together at this time. Our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these latex
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman from Maryland is reserves.
Nobody, what did she, hold on. She's telling Americans to not be afraid of wearing latex gloves? I don't think anyone was afraid of that. Like that, I never heard, have you guys heard of that? I've never heard of Americans being afraid to wear gloves. I just didn't want to wear them. I didn't feel the need. I didn't get the vaccine either, Haley, and I'm still here, okay? So it's just, this is the type of person who's leading the charge to impeach RFK Jr. And this is actually big news. I didn't realize that we could just make up reasons to impeach people. Like this is we can really stretch the reason for impeachment. I thought it was like high crimes and misdemeanors and just like really egregious stuff. This is actually just, we think that he turned his back on science because he's changing some of the government recommendations. Therefore, we should impeach him. And I started thinking to myself, oh, well, if impeaching is on the table for like really ridiculous or like just totally subjective reasons, I'm like, hold on. I said yesterday that all I wanted for Christmas was Jasmine Crockett running for Senate against Ken Paxton because we all know how that's going to end. And it does end with Ken Paxton as our next senator. And I was like, hold on. I just said that that's what I wanted for Christmas, but I'm changing my mind, actually, because if we're just making up reasons to impeach people, I think Republicans should say, you know what, Democrats, we'll play by your rules. That's fine. That's fine. You guys make these wacky rules and we will play by them. So what we're going to do while we are in the majority is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that same energy and impeach some of the Democrats, whether they be in the House, whether they be rogue judges, whatever the case may be. We're going to go ahead and you set the standard. Now we will live by them. So I've actually just done the homework for the Republicans. I've compiled a list for them in a segment I'm calling the 12 Days of Impeach-mas. My wish list of who I want the Republicans to impeach this Christmas, since impeaching is just like the cool thing to do. On the first day of impeachment, excuse me, of course, who other than Nancy Pelosi? Now her crime, being a drunk. She should not be drunk and be in Congress. It's not a good look, okay? And I just, as I'm submitting evidence here for the impeachment trial. Republicans, again, I'm doing your homework for you. She was definitely drunker than shit when she said this.
In order to open these doors, we do not say open sesame. We say open Biden. That's our magic word. Sure. Open Biden. I love it.
I love it. Nancy Pelosi. I think it's so funny. I mean, what an embarrassment. No, you're getting impeached, okay? You guys grow the spines to just play by their rules. I know she's on her way out, but she tried all this impeachment stuff on Trump when he had just a few days left on his first term. So again, you guys set the standard and we will play by it. We will play by it, okay? That is, of course, number one. Number two, on the second day, Ilhan Omar. We got to go Ilhan Omar for the crime of marrying her brother. There is too much evidence. There's too much evidence proving that she married her brother, committed immigration fraud. If there's no one else that we get here, we got to get her. Open and shut case. And by the way, with impeachment comes, of course, denaturalization and deport. Back to Somalia you go with your shitty food. All right. On the third day, Jasmine Crockett for the crime of being retarded. It's not a high crime. It's not a misdemeanor. I mean, it's not treasonous per se, but we're just making up shit now. So she's retarded. Impeach her. Get her the hell out of there. We don't want her anymore. All right. The fourth day, AOC. Also, the retardation. Duh. I don't think I needed to explain that one to you. Also, I'm just getting kind of tired of listening to her shrill screaming all the time.
Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color.
What's so funny to me about AOC is that she thinks that if she gets jumpy on the balls of her feet, that constitutes a good speech. You have to actually speak coherent sentences that make sense for it to be a good speech, ma'am.
I mean, she is retarded, so.
Well, that's fair. I'm holding her to a bar that she can't actually meet because of the retardation, which is, of course, why I want her impeached. We're making up rules. All right, let's go ahead and impeach the retarded ones, okay? By the way, speaking of retards, he is retarded, but he's also done some other things. The fifth day, pencil neck Adam Schiff for the crime of mortgage fraud. Now, I would like to be clear. He's not actually been convicted of these crimes, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because you were accused of it. And you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So we're going to go ahead and impeach your pencil neck ass. We don't want to see you anymore. Now, it's one of my other favorites. for the 6th day of impeachment. Jerry Nadler, for the crime of wearing his pants up to his neck. Nobody should wear their pants that high, and allegedly shitting himself on TV. Now, I'm going to tell you, we don't know exactly what this was, but you see the lean and you see him like maybe he was just trying to fart. And, you know, I hear sometimes people are like, oh, I tried to fart and something else came out. And then he just shuffles off the stage like there might be something running down his leg. There may be something that was running down his leg, and he's like, I'll just be on my way now as I slowly shuffle to the side off to the bathroom to go clean up my leg. Can't have that in Congress. But bye. You're gone, Jerry Nadler. I was getting him confused with my next one. 7th day, Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell for shitting himself on live TV, farting, I don't know. This was, of course, the epic Fartgate, which brings total disdain on the House of Representatives, and therefore you should be impeached, Eric Swalwell.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from...
You guys, that's like... It wasn't a chair. It was literally he stopped talking so that he could concentrate on farting and then kept talking. You cannot tell me that that's not exactly what happened. Stephen, play it again.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from...
Cheat an election. There's no other explanation for that. That's what happened. And you're impeached, Eric. Now, as I said, judges are in the mix too, because impeachment is for judges as well. So for the 8th day, we would like Judge James Boasberg for, of course, being a rogue judge, an activist judge, a member of the deep state, and unconstitutionally blocking Donald Trump at being able to do his job. You're not a good judge. You suck, actually. You are not within the parameters of what you are supposed to be operating, and we would like you gone. Now, since we're talking about judges, I think the 9th day we're going Ketanji Brown Jackson for, of course, being a DEI hire and not knowing what a woman is. If you don't want to know what a woman is, I'm not a biologist. I don't know what a woman is. All right, then, you know what? You don't need to be on the Supreme Court. I don't know why we're pretending like you deserve to be there. I don't know why we're pretending like you have like earned your way, like you would have risen to the level if you weren't a black woman. We're kind of done with that. Goodbye. Republicans, make this happen. Now, on the 10th day, I have this is like probably the easiest sell, Mark Kelly for sedition, because like he actually like committed it, I would say. That actually is a crime. This is like the one that's like one of the crimes that falls under the impeachment is, this failed theater kid video where he and some others called for the military to ignore President Trump as the commander-in-chief, President Trump's orders. You can't have that. You got to go. Now, for the 11th day, Hakeem Jeffries for being a Temu version of Obama. We don't like it. And we didn't like that you cried about the sombrero. You don't have a sense of humor, and therefore you must go. And I just would like to conclude that while we're at it, I would like to ask for a retroactive impeachment. And the final day, we'd like Beto O'Rourke, because he was an embarrassment to the state of Texas. And he looks like the wacky, wild, inflatable guy that you see at like car dealerships. And he's just very gangly and just insufferable. And you know what? If turned your back on science is a reason for impeachment, Beto O'Rourke being an embarrassment to Texas is also a reason for impeachment. So I'm just saying, Republicans, grow some balls. They're setting the standard. We should live by it. If this is the standard, if this is the game that they want to play, and you do know if they gain power in the midterms, It is exactly what they will do. So why not beat them at their own game for once? I would like to ask you guys who are watching, who did I miss? Who would be on your impeachment list? Let me know in the comments below if I miss. I'm sure. I mean, there are a lot of really like hateable characters within the ranks of the Democrat Party. I'm sure I missed one. So let me know in the comments what you think. All right. Want to thank our sponsor, this segment, Relief Factor. So it's kind of a funny time for me to push my neck because had a crick in it. I need to take Relief Factor. Relief Factor is an all-natural pain reliever. So if you are, you like whatever pain it is, back pain, knee pain, neck pain, whatever the case may be, typically the root cause of your pain in your body is inflammation. That is what's causing the pain. So wouldn't it be nice if you could get rid of that inflammation? You could just totally rid your body of the source of the pain. Try Relief Factor. Like I said, it's all natural, anti-inflammatory. It's very, very potent. And it was developed by doctors who are tired of giving their patients drugs that made them loopy. If you try it, it's $19.95, less than $1 a day, the 3-week quick start, less than $1 a day to see if you can get out of pain the majority of the people it works for. So the odds are in your favor. It's going to work for you. And that could be life-changing. Go to relieffactor.com for that 3-week quick start. That is relieffactor.com. So as you guys now know, Jasmine Crockett is officially running for Senate. And there was an article that I saw this morning that I couldn't get over it. I could not believe that this was real life. Jasmine Crockett's decision to run for Senate in Texas. I mean, it probably leaves a lot of you wondering. We went over the math yesterday. It leaves a lot of you wondering, why would she do that? Like winning a random, ghetto district in Dallas is a little different than winning a Senate seat in the entire state of Texas. So it had a lot of people wondering, like, what is she? She just wants to lose? Well, it turns out she was tricked into running by Republicans. This is the article, An AstroTurf Recruitment Process. National Republicans propped up Jasmine Crockett to push her into a Senate run. So what happened was the NRSC, this is the National Republican Senatorial Committee, started including Crockett's name in polling and conducted a sustained effort to get Crockett, the party's preferred candidate to run against, into the race. So they robocall Democrats. They're robocalling Democrats to urge them to call Jasmine Crockett's office and tell her, run, Jasmine, run for Senate. And then connected the caller to the office so that it looked like there were all of these people who were very organically calling and demanding that Jasmine Crockett run for Senate, when in actuality, it was just the Republicans who were tricking her. This is like, I don't have a very high bar when it comes to like any sort of the national committees for anything Republican, for anything GOP. This, credit where credit is due, is actually brilliant. This is amazing. So they also, the GOP, ran and pushed around polls suggesting that she would win. And like she saw these polls and decided to jump into the race. Like, this makes sense. This makes sense. This is why Jasmine Crockett went on CNN yesterday. We played the clip of her talking about, no, I don't need Trump voters in the state of Texas to win. Like, girl, your math ain't mathin'. Yes, you do. And there is no world in which there is a Trump Crockett voter. Like, there's just not. That does not exist. So where are you getting your information from that you don't think that you need any Trump voters in a state where Trump just won by almost 14 points? And it was the biggest double-digit lead since 2012. Like, where are you thinking? Where are you getting your information from that you're going to win? Well, it was the Republicans. That's where. Also, as I mentioned before, she is retarded. So it didn't take it didn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot for her to subscribe to this plan. And on top of that, It is very funny when you think about the NRSC, who, again, I will mention, credit where credit is due, but I don't particularly like them. I know that they are very pro John Cornyn because John Cornyn is the current senator, even though he sucks. And you actually have Jasmine Crockett going out and making like friendly comments about John Cornyn. I mean, comments that if I were John Cornyn and I was running for re-election, I would not want Jasmine Crockett to make about me. Like, she's saying that John Cornyn is the most reasonable person. She likes working with him. He's only pretending to be super MAGA so he can get through his election. And so she's saying all of these like friendly things about the guy that she's now running against. It's all really beautiful. It's all really beautiful. Now, yesterday we talked about the really stupid campaign ad that she put out that was just Trump calling her an idiot for 40 seconds. By the way, if you missed it, here's a refresher for you.
You have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
You know, one of my favorite things about this is I don't know why it just dawned on me. The slow motion, I know they did it for drama, but it does make her like slow motion just makes her look slower. And he's already calling her retarded. And she does look it in the video as she's like, so it's not brilliant. Listen, you're going to be shocked to hear the Democrats are not sending their best and brightest. Okay. Now, she doesn't explain things well, mostly because of the retardation, as I mentioned before. And she was asked about it and tried to explain the narcissistic idea behind this ad. Here's what she had to say.
I wanted to do something different because, number one, in order to flip the state of Texas, we're going to have to do something that we've never done. So I wanted to stay on brand with the fact that we would be different. I also wanted people to understand who the president sees as a real threat, and it is me.
I honestly, I love this so much. You get these Democrat narcissistic women. The men are as well, but it's a very unique feature of Democrat women. They are so narcissistic that President Trump mentions them because he's making fun of them. And they always are like, oh my God, why is Donald Trump so obsessed with me? Why is Donald Trump so threatened by me? I'm such a strong, independent Black woman. I'm such a strong, independent Somali. Oh my God, why is Donald Trump so obsessed with me? He's so scared. Like, no, he's not. He's really not. We're not scared of you. Trump is like literally just making fun of you. He's not, I promise you, he's not scared of you. He has said multiple times, and so if the rest of us, we would love it if you were the face of the Democrat Party for literally ever and ever and ever. That is a gift. That is beautiful for us. It is just so funny. They're so narcissistic and pea-brained. They cannot comprehend, like, he mentioned me, he must be obsessed. He mentioned me, he must be threatened or scared. Like, they can't process that there's a lot more going on than that. It's rather alarming, actually. Another reason why women don't have the capacity to, anywho. Don't want to get any women upset in my comments, but I'll tell you what. It's not going great for Jasmine Crockett already. We're in like day 1, day 2? Day 2? What is today? Tuesday? Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
We're in day 2. Because she announced Monday. We're in day 2, and CNN is already calling her out because she, just said that Latinos who voted for Trump are slaves. And I want to play this exchange between Jake Tapper, who has had no problems. I mean, he simped for Joe Biden when Joe was like half dead the whole entire time. And then after he was gone, he was like, oh my God, look at this book I found. I came up with where we wrote about all these crazy things that were going on in the White House. And it turns out Joe Biden was half dead. Like, this is not an objective guy, right? This is a total hack. And even he already in the first couple of days of her campaign is like, can you answer for what you've said before about Latinos?
All the complexities within the Latino community. The immigration thing has always been something that has perplexed me about this community. It's basically like, I fought to get here, but I left y'all where I left y'all, and I want no more y'all to come here. If I wanted to be with y'all, I would stay with y'all, but I don't want y'all coming to my new home. It almost reminds me of what people would talk about when they would talk about kind of like slave mentality and the hate that some slaves would have for themselves. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have. Now, about the time that was published last year, around 1 million Latino voters in Texas were voting for Trump. Do they all have slave mentality?
No, and that's not what that said at all, to be clear. It did not say that every Latino has that type of mentality.
No, but the ones that vote for people that believe in strong or Trump's immigration policies.
So I don't believe that the people that voted for Trump believe in what they're actually getting.
What? What? The one thing that has been abundantly clear in President Trump's campaign, platform, agenda has been, we want to deport the illegals. So I can't explain that comment other than the retardation. Like, what? You're not good at, she's not good at this. And I personally enjoy it. It's just so crazy that the Democrats are so inherently racist that they can't comprehend just an American citizen who, my last name, Gonzales, an American citizen with totally American family who happens to have a Latino, a Hispanic last name. Like they cannot comprehend it. They can't comprehend it. And by the way, Jazzy, you're the one still stuck on the plantation. Jasmine Crockett, you are the one who is still stuck. You are still stuck on the plantation, okay? Because the slave mentality is for minorities who are Democrats, who continue in Chicago, in Dallas, in all of these cities where you keep electing the same Democrats for your shithole cities. They keep holding you down. They keep you just totally attached to government handouts so you never achieve anything more. And you always keep voting for them. That is a slave mentality. Believing that we are all individuals and we can all work hard and pave our own way and have equal opportunity. That is antithetical to a slave mentality, you dumbass. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to take a quick break and then I want to bring in our panel. So before I do that, I do want to thank our sponsor, PreBorn. So PreBorn, I love working with PreBorn because especially at the end of the year, they're literally, they are giving the gift of life and they're asking you to help give the gift of life. That is such an easy thing for me to talk to you guys about. They are giving unplanned women who have unplanned pregnancies. They're scared. They don't know what they're going to do. And they can either go into a Planned Parenthood and be told just a total book of lies. It's fine. It's just a clump of cells. You're not going to regret a thing. Let us just kill your baby. Obviously, that's a lie. When they go into PreBorn's network of clinics, they're just shown the truth on ultrasound. They see their baby on ultrasound. They listen to their baby's heartbeat. And in that moment, they are twice as likely to choose life. $28 is the cost of an ultrasound. So what I'm asking my audience to do is if you've still got some extra Christmas gifts you need to get, and you're going to this, party with all these adults who don't need anything, might you consider giving them the gift of life? I can think of, all of my family members would be like, wow, that is actually really way more meaningful than a new sweater that you bought on Amazon. Okay, so $28, one ultrasound. How many ultrasounds can you sponsor? Help us save the babies over at preborn.com/Sara. That is preborn.com/Sara. By the way, they've got a special matching grant right now, so your gift is going to be doubled. Now is the time to donate. preborn.com/Sara. Welcome to the show. Our panel, we have Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire. You can find him on YouTube, Matthew D. Marsden, along with Auron MacIntyre. He is the host of the Auron MacIntyre Show, which you can find right here on BlazeTV. I appreciate both of you guys being here with me. And I will say, I'm very excited to talk with you guys about this next one for different reasons for both of you. But so Ilhan Omar, obviously the talk of the town right now. Donald Trump talking about her marrying her brother. And he has not stopped talking about that in the last couple of days. Been very interesting to hear from the president. Here's his latest.
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban.
The turban.
I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? She comes to our country, and she's always complaining about, the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that?
Now, obviously, it's funny. It's funny from Donald Trump. By the way, she proved him correct once again because she immediately went on X and bitched about the comment, talking about her bitching. Trump's obsession with me is beyond weird. He needs serious help. He has no economic policies to tout. He's resorting to regurgitating bigoted lies instead. He continues to be a national embarrassment. Like, no, he's not obsessed with you. He's not obsessed with you. Let's count the number of times Ilhan Omar has commented on social media about Donald Trump versus the number of times that Donald Trump has commented about Ilhan Omar. It's just that we have a Somali problem in this country, and you are like their representative. So of course he's going to mention your name, girl. Okay. But I find this, it's funny, but I also am a little bit frustrated. I have a sense of frustration, like boiling, Auron, because okay, if you're saying she married a brother, I believe that to be true. I agree. So why are we not doing something to have some accountability to get her, if it turns out that she committed this fraud, she should have all actions should be on the table for her.
Yeah, you think that would be the case. And this is a huge issue with conservatives at this point. We recognize how deleterious it is to the nature of our country to have people here who are cheating their way in, shouldn't be here, hate the country, but we have very little plans with actually dealing with them. Now, at least we're to the point where we can deport illegal aliens, or at least some percentage of them, but even then we're only prioritizing those that are doing violent crime. But if we have someone who is lying through the naturalization process, that is literally the textbook definition of how you should be denaturalized. I taught this in high school when I was a high school civics teacher, that this is the very reason why you would denaturalize someone. She obviously qualifies across every domain for being removed from this country. She should not be here. She certainly should not be serving in Congress. It's an insult that she continues to be on American soil at this point.
Yeah, I fear that Republicans have gotten too comfortable with, like, I'm going to get this clip out on X, and it's going to get a lot of clicks, and it's going to get a lot of views, and it's going to get a lot of likes, and then at the end of the day, it's like, what are you actually doing about it? There is too much there with regard to Ilhan Omar. The marrying her brother thing, which is, I don't know, kind of a big deal. The fact that she seems to have convenient ties, Matt, to all of these Somalis in Minnesota that are getting convicted of fraud and using taxpayer money. It's so strange how she happens to be very close with all of them. I mean, there's enough there that if Republicans really were interested in proving the point, take the woman who literally says, I'm here to represent Somali interests.
Well, I mean, I think it's very difficult for you to level an argument if you want to say, I want to get rid of the person that runs that taco stand or whatever. I have taco. I keep saying taco, right?
Taco.
The taco stand. It's very difficult to make that argument if you've got someone in Congress that's just flaunting it in front of everyone and saying, look, what are you going to do? I mean, firstly, if she did marry her brother, I mean, I think that's kind of illegal anyway.
Yeah, and she married him in a secret Christian ceremony so that he could stay in the U.S. and go to college.
Well, I mean, all of it is illegal, and
yes.
I am absolutely sick to death of the lawlessness and the weakness of the Republicans in Congress. To your point, I mean, they need to be doing something about it, because else, how can you imagine you're ICE, you're an ICE agent, you're going after one of these, they're all criminals, right? Can we stop? Right. That's one of the things. They are all criminals. If they came across the border illegally, they are criminals. So you're going after them, and then yet you've got a congresswoman out there who is just saying, hey, listen, I married my brother. I came of it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, what's funny is she's not saying she married her brother. She's saying it's bigoted to accuse her of that, which by that she means because all of her people end up inbreeding and therefore it's bigoted to, I guess, like talk about it. I don't really know. But a lot of retardation happening in Minnesota because not only is Ilhan Omar, doing her whole thing, Tim Walz is actually, as you have, I just mentioned, the $250 million fraud case in Minnesota with all of these Somalis taking taxpayer money and funneling it to, in some cases, terror groups. He's saying, in light of that, he just wants to import more Somalians, actually.
And then they pile on and start demonizing the entire community of our Somali community in Minnesota that we're incredibly proud of. But the antidote to that is positive actions to improve lives that go against what they're trying to do. So instead of demonizing our Somali community, we're going to do more to welcome more in and welcome people there. Instead of cutting the program, we're going to enhance them.
What could possibly go wrong? Auron, they never learn. They never learn that these policies they're not wanted by Americans, and instead they just double, triple down. Although I will say, to Tim Walz's credit, I did hear quite a bit of clapping in that room.
Yeah, it is a bit of a disadvantage that we have. Often on the right with conservatives, we feel like politics should be ideological. It's about beliefs. We're a nation of ideas. This is how we work together. We have these objective understandings of how things should be, and that's how we determine the way that we're governed. But in reality, for most of the world, including all of the places the left is importing people from, politics is tribal. It's about allegiances. It's about family loyalties. It's about loyalties to people that look like you, talk like you, think like you. And when we have that kind of behavior, it's very difficult for conservatives to fight back against it because we're like, no, we explained that the ideas, they don't work. People don't want the ideas. They don't care. They don't care about Marxism. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't understand how economics work. They know you have stuff and they want your stuff. And so they get together and they take your stuff. There's no ideology behind it. It's not about the ideas. It's about the fact that they can take things from you. That's all politics is for them.
Yeah, and I would add to that, you're totally right. I would add to that, too. It really has turned into, in the Trump era, whatever Donald Trump says or does, we're just the party that does the opposite. And that's what's kind of turned them into, like, we're going to simp for illegal gang members. We actually want to bring them back to the country. We're going to release dangerous criminals back into the streets because Donald Trump says he wants law and order. Like, they really have, to Auron's point, the tribalism has gotten so bad that they are taking very objectively dangerous policies, and they're just running with them because Donald Trump says we need law and order and we need to remove the illegal criminals.
Well, to be honest with you, Sarah, I think the issue there is that Donald Trump is actually highlighting it. I think they've been doing it for years.
Sure.
Right, because they want that. If you want to, we've said this 1,000 times on the show, if you want to destabilize a country like America, you're never going to beat it militarily. So what do? You import a bunch of people that don't have the same morals and values as you, and you destabilize it from the inside. So that's what they're doing. And especially you can look to the UK for this. What they're doing is bringing people over and then punishing I would say indigenous people, like the British people, for social media memes, while letting people walk free who've raped, individuals. So it's intended to destabilize the country, and that's what they want at the end of the day. That's their end game.
Yeah, was it in the UK that I just saw? There was the story of the woman who was like sexually assaulted, and she texted her friend, and did she call the guy a faggot?
Yeah, so what happened was there was a girl that was hit. I don't think she was sexually assaulted. I think she was hit.
Okay, so just assaulted.
She was just
physically assaulted. Got it.
And she basically texted a girl that was friends with the guy
that hit
said
him.
He's a faggot.
And then she's in trouble with the law.
And by the way, the guy didn't get prosecuted.
So you're just to point out, like, you're not being hyperbolic.
No, it's actually true.
This is actually happening.
Yeah, it happened, yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back with more. But I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, CBDistillery. So CBDistillery is great because this is like all plant-powered wellness anything that you need, they've got. And I know people hear CBD and they're like, oh my God, that's going to get you high. That's actually not true. They've got stuff. I love the CBD. Do you have a pain relief stick, Matt?
Do you know what? I used some of that CBD stuff on my neck before I had the operation. It was unbelievable.
It always works for me. And I'll be like, oh, my thumb aches. And I put the CBD cream on it and it works. So if it's sleep that you need help with, if it's pain, whatever the case may be, if it's just like, I just need to be calm, whatever the case may be, this is 100% clean ingredients. And right now you can go to CBDistillery.com, use promo code Sara for 25% off your entire purchase. That is CBDistillery.com, promo code Sara. Well, breaking news today, an appeals court has upheld President Trump's trans military ban. This is, of course, under the direction of the Secretary of War, which sounds cooler every time I say it, Pete Hegseth. The court wrote that this policy advances several legitimate military interests, you think, including military readiness and unit cohesion. This was a 2-1 decision, and the panel consisted of 2 judges appointed by President Trump and another judge who was appointed by President Barack Obama. I'm going to give you guys one guess who was the one who dissented. But I mean, listen, as the woman here, I will just go ahead and say, I don't know if you guys get nervous about like saying controversial things about women. I don't think women should be in combat at all. I don't think that they should be there. And I definitely don't think that a man who is mentally ill enough, who thinks that he's a woman, should be in that realm at all either. Like, I think both of those things are very bad. Luckily, this appeals court, 2 out of 3 of them agreed, Auron.
Yeah, I mean, it really is terrifying that the effectiveness of our military could come down to whether or not you got the right guy appointed to a particular circuit judgeship. It's insane that anyone but the commander-in-chief determines who is or is not in the military. Military is not a place for you to do your social science experiments or work out your feminist fantasies. Military is a place where we kill people who are trying to murder us. Yep. This is literally the most important type of decision you can make, along with maybe, I don't know, having a particular doctor, a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon or something. You do not fool around and try to do some kind of DEI stuff with this. The idea that you would put mentally ill men in the military and put them anywhere near combat, or put women in combat, when ultimately that's just disgraceful, not because even necessarily women can't do the job, but a country that subjects its women to that kind of environment, it says something deeply troubling about that country. So really, there's just no reason for these people to be involved in deciding who's in the military. But ultimately, I'm glad that they decided we can have a functional military. Good thing, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, boy, how far they fell during the Biden regime, because you had them putting out advertisements about, I'm a lesbian and that's why I chose to join the military. Like, what? It got really scary there for a while. You had to believe that China and some of these other, adversarial countries were laughing at us and how weak we had gotten. By the way, also conveniently, there were these like random wars that popped up during Joe Biden's era that wouldn't have ever happened if President Trump had not had that stolen from him. So it's nice to see now the adults are back in charge. You've got these recruitment efforts that they're like way past their recruiting goals because people realize, oh, it's okay to be tough. It's okay to like have this masculinity and want to go sign up, enlist, and be like, yeah, I want to go kill our enemies. That's okay. That's actually what we want.
Yeah, the most important thing about the military is that you are the most lethal force in the world. I mean, that's all that should matter.
It's literally you have one job.
Yeah, to kill people. That's your job, And I'm not just talking about reversing into a parking space either. Anyway,
I just can't stand. I can't stand it when you guys do that. I can't stand it when you guys do that. I can't.
But look, to your point though, if you remember about the commercials that were on back then, we had those weird and everyone's looking like nobody's going to join because of that. The Russians, meanwhile, put out badass commercials of commandos doing pull-ups and climbing through the mud. I mean, as Auron said, it's number one, you don't want to be doing a social experiment right there. You don't want to be giving mentally ill people guns, it's kind of a problem. And you know, you do want the most lethal fighting force, and that means you want the strongest, most capable people in that situation. And you don't want guys to be worried, masculine men being worried about who's next to them.
Yeah. Speaking of mentally ill people, you recall Dick Levine. Good old, look at that, the ever feminine Dick Levine, who was Assistant Secretary for Health and Human Services during the Biden regime. Well, Dick Levine, because the official position of the government is that we only recognize biological sex, not all those crazy mental illnesses that you guys come up with. Turns out during the government shutdown, HHS changed the name placard on his official portrait back to his birth name. So instead of Rachel Levine, it just says Dick Levine at this point. I just love, so Auron, I mentioned before the Ilhan Omar comments. It's like, it's funny, but I need you to do something. With these types of things, with the casual trolling of like the auto pen being Joe Biden's picture and the Dick Levine, no, you're not Rachel, sorry, we're just going to recognize biological sex. I do like that. It is very cathartic for me.
Well, it's hilarious. And very importantly, in this case, it was paired with actual action, right? We are seeing transgenderism being removed from the military. So it's not just the trolling, it's the action as well. We're getting the jokes, but we're also getting the results. And it's really just insane that we saw this entire period. I mean, trying to explain to anyone before 10 years ago that this is a real thing and not a Saturday Night Live sketch or some absurd thing you read in the history book and think, man, how do people not realize this civilization was falling? I mean, this guy actually made his horse the consul of Rome. Like, we're really in that scenario. This is Caligula's horse. The fact that you have a man pretending to be a woman, it's not just funny, though. It's deeply insulting to service members. These are honorable people who deserve to be led by real, important, serious leaders. And instead, they had this. It's just a disgrace that we subjected our service members to people like this.
Also, it was a disgrace that this guy was the assistant secretary, right? Like, he's of health and human services. I think a pretty basic requirement is you understand that there are two genders. and you're not a woman, dude. Like, that's a pretty basic requirement. And yet he was at the top of the very top at Health and Human Services, Matt.
I mean, it's not only a joke. I mean, to Auron's point, it is really, really serious, actually. Yeah. I mean, that we are not, or we were not under Joe Biden, a serious country.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's, like you said, the Chinese, the Russians, are they really going to be quaking in their boots when they see that? They're going to be like, these guys are a pushover. Like, all we've got to do is prod them in a couple of soft spots and then they're going to roll over. So I'm very glad for the safety of our children that the adults are back in charge now.
Yeah, the adults and the mentally stable people. And by the way, the physically fit people, because there's no fatties allowed anymore. Auron MacIntyre, host of the Auron MacIntyre Show, Matt Marsden, I appreciate you guys.